Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So as you can see, we're here in Sheboygan. This is the NASCAR 2022 Walker Air Transport Tour, hence the livery. Alright, so I am going to be trying to use all of the add-ons that we've got. So let me see, let me get the parking brake set here. Alright, and then we need main battery and ground power. So I'm using self-loading cargo as well, but at this point we've got some AI voices in that as well. So should be pretty good here, I would think. So we'll see how things go. Now, the only thing I'm not going to do is GSX, because I don't need it. At this point, we're just going to be able to pull away here. It's a little bright. So we're going to get everything armed. Get avionics on, and I'm going to start moving along here. But again, we're going to have the captain kind of set. I'm going to turn on the seat belt so that we don't have any of that going on. We should be perfectly fine for fuel, I think. No, we actually need a little bit more, so let me get that changed up here. So we're going to do it at about 75, let's say. That will work. Going to try to get my walker tracking loaded. So I need that. So we have that. We'll get our pitot heat operating. We'll get our position set. We'll get our route menu going. Should hopefully pull everything in. Cabin crew are not yet on board, so that's why you're not hearing anything. Oh, here they come. So again, I've got a captain's voice. I don't speak on that one because I'm doing it in Beyond ATC.
Hello?
Good morning, Captain. How are you?
Hi there, I'm fine, thanks.
Great. We're just getting ready for departure, but if you need anything else, just give me a call.
Thanks.
No problem.
Alright, so we should have ground coming along soon. Alright, let's see. We've got takeoff. Let's see if I can get some information there. So we've got 3031 for the altimeter.
Hello.
Hello, Captain. Okay, so I've spoken to security and they've started checking in. But there's around another 10 minutes to go before we expect to be seeing any passengers.
Okay, feel free to start boarding whenever they're ready to come on board. Let us know once you've started.
No problem.
So, I've got an older American, and I have, as you can tell, an Australian flight crew. Just because I love the Aussie accent. It's always a pleasant accent. And so, doing that, let's see what the wind is. 110 with gusts of 15. My goodness, this is going to make life a bit entertaining in our little Cessna, but I am doing real weather because I didn't see any clouds. So I'm like, that'll work, but now I'm beginning to wonder if it will. We shall see. Alright, we're going to clear. Let's go here. Alright, we are departing on runway 13. Again, small airports, so not a whole lot. We're going into the Atlanta Speedway Airport, so that is where we're heading. We're going to go in on RNAV on runway 6, and yeah, we're going to go to Khmp, and we're going to do the Buckhead 3 with the Woodia transition. That should give us what we need there. I don't know why the sound keeps cutting in and out. It's a little concerning to me, but we'll see what happens. Aircraft isn't loading for another 11 minutes. Neither is the baggage, so might, we got a little bit of time here to just spend and chat, I suppose. So let's see. Yeah, we don't want... Can't really do anything with the APU. I'm hoping 11 minutes won't be a problem for not having... and I don't know that we have an APU on this plane, but it's going to ask us for it anyway. So, let's see. I'm going to put the flaps down. That'll get things where they need to be. But yeah, we're going to just pull out, and then runway 13, just so you're aware, is over there. So we're basically going to be heading, kind of out and over is the plan. But I was debating seeing if I could do something like a 737 or whatever, and I might be able to take off, but landing would be tight. They're pretty tiny airports that we're heading to. And I did double check, because we've been to Atlanta before, earlier in the season. So I thought, well, let me see what I flew in, but I did do the Cessna. So I'm like, rather than tempt fate, we're just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, we're going to get the flight director set. Going to get the nav. And we're going to get VNav. And we're just now going to make sure that things... Alright, so we're missing something here. We are not flying... Well, that is the altitude it told us, but we're not going to go that high. That would be crazy. At least I think it would be. I don't know. We'll see. So for takeoff, I've got info. I don't understand... Alright, we do have V-speeds now, so 105, 112, and 125. I'm not sure if that's gonna... No V-path condition. So in theory, I should be... yeah, there's the transition. Yeah, see, I don't know what no V-path condition means. Because let me also check my legs. So I think I'm all set. But let's just make sure now we do have a discontinuity. I don't want to hold a Khmp, I just want to get in there, so I want to get rid of that. And we should be okay. And then we're not going to vector in. So that looks like it solved the V-path thing. Let's see what we've got here. And then, what was it, 300? Oh, 30030. So we definitely want to adjust that, because that's not a minimal change in any way. Alright, just making sure they're tied together. Alright. Alright, and then VNav. Alright. Should be okay. Down to about 6 minutes before we're going to start loading. Alright, standby flight display on. I don't have any other warnings right now. I think we're good. But we have about an hour and a half of flying time, so it's not going to be a terribly long video, but giving the self-loading cargo and so forth, you know, I figured we'll give this a try again within this series because it should work out well. It's one of the ones that I think will give me an opportunity. But one of the things that was nice, because this was a new edition in 1.6.4, which was an update that came out in June, so very recent, and then they did an update of 1.6.4.1 because they basically let you use one of two different AI platforms. Oh, I think maybe we're getting ground here.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
You're loud and clear. 5 over 5.
Okay, Captain. Radio check is complete. We'll contact you when we're ready to start loading.
Roger.
Alright, so now I'm going to tell them about the APU
Cockpit to
just
ground.
to get points, even though we don't have one. They're taking a while. There we go. Now we're going to...
We're starting the APU. Please stand by as we'll be disconnecting from ground power shortly.
Roger. We'll monitor the startup from down here and let you know if we see anything untoward.
Roger.
Alright, and technically, I mean, I have power, so I don't need ground power, but, anyway, what altitude? We'll start with 9,000 or 8,000. Don't know where they'll clear us to, but we'll do that. We'll see what happens. Okay, so our V-speeds are displayed there too. I don't know that I ever actually noticed that, because usually I'm running out of here in a Cessna pretty quickly. Let me adjust my trim a bit, get that more into the green there. That'll help a little bit as well. But about 3 minutes now. We're going to have 2 drink services and a food service. Again, it's just an hour and a half. But what they allowed to do was AI voices instead of just the default voices that they had. Now, it does take characters, and in theory, it could require a cost if I wanted to use it regularly. But what I'm testing is, as long as I keep the voices the same, so the cabin crew I've used once before, but I did change because I had a female, an Irish female, as the captain that I was trying at one point. But figured, well, you know, I'm kind of got a bass voice, you know, older male, so I was kind of looking for, you know, older male type thing. That's the closest guy I've found. It's, the voice is named Clifton. But once it generates the files, it's then supposed to go back and use those files again and not have to generate the text. So, in theory, like, you're going to need to use characters to begin with, but then you don't. So we'll see how that really works out, because I really should be getting a couple flights done pretty quickly here, and this is just the start of the month. So I think we probably just reset our count for characters, but not quite sure if that's true or not. But we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it's giving me X characters remaining, so it must be a month. So the one I'm using for these voices starts with 12,500 characters. I'm down to 10,397, but it doesn't always update in real time compared to the other one where I could refresh the screen, because I thought for a while, oh, it's not charging me characters because it was sitting at like 12,200. But then when I finished up the test I was doing, it had used like 2,000 characters. So we may not get more than one flight out of this, depending on how things go, because I'm certainly not interested at this point in paying. I'm perfectly fine with the self-loading cargo base voices if I need to do that. But I just thought this would be an interesting alternative to try. And like I said, I've tested it on partial flights here and there, just to see, make sure I could get it to work and that it seemed to make sense. You'll notice it does take a while to reply because it is sending things off and going back. So my understanding, that's a little bit how, like, Say Intentions does things. Alright, in the meantime, whoops, I wanted to go to Beyond ATC. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Just a quick update to let you know that we've started loading. We'll send the final load sheet up once we're ready.
Roger.
So you'll notice the Roger there was very fast because it already generated the Roger. So now I've got aircraft loading in progress. Passenger boarding is expected now, so I should be getting the crew contacting me soon.
Prepare to start boarding.
So there you go. She's just saying internally, telling the crew, and there's just 2 of them on this Cessna, so. But I do keep the music off because I have gotten flagged for copyright for some of the music for self-loading cargo. So if you've used this before and you're like, hey, why aren't you using that in the background? Tends to be a problem for videos. So that is why. Alright, so you can hear we've got 1 person on board, 2 people on board. I assume they're going to let me know shortly that they're boarding. Maybe not. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Just to let you know, we've started bringing the passengers on board.
And that was pretty quick, and that's the standard message, so it does seem
Thanks
to
a lot.
work. Alright, so with that, I know I need to do a PA system announcement.
Good morning from the cockpit. This is your captain speaking.
So we've got a few things here. What's going
My
on?
name is Bob, and I'd like to welcome you on board Western Air Express WA 8495 from Sheboygan to Hampton.
Alright, is it not... Is it that long of a generation? Wow, this is a
We're
long
currently
time.
preparing for departure up here in the cockpit, and once we're airborne, we'll be climbing to our cruise level of 41,000 feet.
Ground to cockpit.
Alright, it didn't let me pick all the other things, so
Welcome
that's not
aboard
good.
this Walker Air Transport Service. Please ensure to
Go
place your
ahead.
bags either in the overhead compartment or in the seat in front
Loading
of
has
you.
been completed.
We should be
Sending
on
the
our
load sheet
way
up to you
soon,
now.
so make sure to fasten
Contact
your
you once the
seatbelt
aircraft is close
and
enough
move
that
your
we get
seat to its upright position.
Roger.
Thank you.
Hello.
Alright, so they gave the passenger announcement. I need to tell them about
Captain.
ground power.
Okay, we've received the load sheet from ground, so our count is 12 consisting of 2 crew, 10 passengers. Plus yourselves, of course.
Thank you.
Alright, let's call the ground crew.
Okay. Looks like we're all set to go whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. You can close the doors whenever you're ready.
Alright, let's see if I can get...
Okay, I'll let the crew know and we'll get closed up as soon as we can.
Cockpit to ground.
So I haven't told them about switching to the ground power off, which does get me some points.
Go ahead.
There we go. So we will be able
We're
to
off the
issue
ground
that.
power, so feel free to disconnect.
Roger. Stand by, please.
Alright. And I think it takes them a little bit of time, and then we go ahead and do that. Alright. Oh, and self-loading cargo crashed, which it sometimes does. I don't understand. So that's unpleasant and unfortunate. I may try to start it again, but we'll see. Alright, it looks like we just have center for air traffic. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, request IFR clearance to Hampton.
Walker 4021, Chicago Center, cleared to Henry County Airport. Radar vectors KG-81M, then as filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 410, 10 minutes after departure. Departure with me. Squawk 0426.
Cleared to Henry County Airport, radar vectors KG-81M, then as filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 410, 10 minutes after departure. Departure with me. Squawk 0426. Alright, I'm trying to get the self-loading cargo loading again, because I should be
Walker
able
4021, read back correct. Push or start at pilot's discretion. Hold for release. Report holding short runway 1 tree.
Push and start at pilot's
Cockpit to
discretion. Hold for release. Report holding short runway 13. Walker 4021.
All stations, please close doors.
Go ahead.
Please disconnect ground power.
Roger.
Alright. Hopefully it won't crash again. Okay,
Ground
let's...
power has been.
Hello?
Alright, let's see what they've got here.
Hi, Captain. Just to let you know that everyone's on board.
Alright.
Okay, great. You can close the doors whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll let the crew know and we'll get closed up as soon as we can.
Alright, well that's similar to what we had. I need to
Roger.
tell ground power Roger. Alright, so far so good. I ran SLC as administrator now, just to see if that changes anything. It shouldn't. At this point, we're going to get the engines started, though. So we're going to spin those up. Oh, it crashed again on me. I wonder, I might not be able to... Well, let me see. Let me turn this off real quick, because I'm going to try it one more time. If it crashes on me again, we're just going to have to live without it, because it does remember where it's at. Now, there is an update that just came out that it's telling me about. Maybe it addresses some of this. I don't know. Oh, now it's telling us we're delayed. Oh, and now the sound died, and it crashed again. Alright, so we're just going to live without it. We're just going to use Beyond ATC. And we won't have cabin crew, because the problem is, like, once you start the engines, you normally can't do it. I suppose I could try it once I have everything running, but my guess is we've got some sort of errors going on. But let me start up my engines here, and we should be all set pretty much. Once we get to an N1 of 20, or an N2 of 20, I should say, that's usually close enough to crank and get going. So I'll likely not include everything. I'm firing it up again. So at this point, I should be able to start moving. Alright, it looks like they just closed the... Yeah, so they close the doors and they crash. So, it doesn't look like I can get it running. I mean, I can see if maybe when I'm at the runway or something it acts differently, but I don't think that'll be the case. So, if that's the case, that I can't do self-loading cargo, there's not a whole lot that goes on during the flight. So it'll be a little bit more of what we've had in these later, where we have you know, the air traffic, but once we've kind of reached cruising altitude, and so I'll probably, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I will go up to 41,000. That just seems a long way, but it is a relatively long flight. I think we have like 600 miles or so to go, so it's not nothing. But we'll see what if our speed starts getting a bit excessive, but I'm only going 60. I think I should be okay. Let me slow down a little bit here. All right. So they didn't tell us to hold short of, you know, the other runway, so we'll just cross it. So, a few bugs with self-loading cargo, obviously, but figured I'd give it a shot. I have gotten it to work with other things. I'm not quite sure, you know, and it might be the voices. I don't know. See, I wonder now. So I'm going to end up calling a bunch of, or skipping a bunch of things. So I tried to start it up again, as you can see. Now let's see. They close the door. They seem to close the door and then crash. Yes, it keeps doing that. So I'm going to stop because I have to keep cutting the video to just get rid of all the stuff that's going on while it's trying to load. But, so I'm going to stop trying to load self-loading cargo. I'm obviously going to keep going here, but holding short, runway 13, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, released for departure. Clearance void if not off by 1310 Zulu. If not off by 1310 Zulu, contact no later than 1320 Zulu. Time now 1251 Zulu. Frequency change approved.
Cleared for takeoff, Walker 4021. Alright. So we're all set. And again, it's because we're in Chicago Center. Whoops, I keep hitting the wrong button. Alright, so we need beacon, nav, strobe. Should have had taxi. It's daytime. We don't need the logo lights. Everything should be good. Let's see, legs. I don't understand why we're not getting a V path. I'm wondering, maybe I need to, let's see, what's our first point? KG, so let me do direct there and see if that changes anything. It may not. Alright, well, it's not clearing it offhand.
Autopilot.
Alright. So, let's get going. Parking brake is off. I would think we'd start rolling with less power than this, but doesn't appear that was the case, so. Alright. So, because we don't have a tower here, obviously it's a little bit different in how it functions as far as the clearance we get and so forth, because this is obviously an untowered airport, because we had to just contact Chicago Center even though we're up here in Wisconsin. Alright, so we're all set. Gonna throttle ourselves up. And again, once we obviously take off, we'll then be set. So again, our V speeds are just above 100. So should be able to take off. There we go. Back off my throttle a bit. Get my gear up. Turn on the autopilot.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Alright, we're gonna get the... I don't understand why it's acting the way it's acting. But there we go. We'll do that. Now, nav isn't clicking on because we're not where we need to be. We're like over 90 degrees away from our path, so I'm sure I have to get an intercept. Whoops. Let me slow on down. Yeah, I see you. You should be slowing down. Take it easy. Alright, so we're over Sheboygan Falls is where it's taking us here. You know, the VNav is doing its thing. It's just trying to maintain the turn is a little more difficult on the joystick here. Alright, so we're kind of past, now we're heading toward an intercept. So what I probably need to do, let's see, where's my heading bug? Alright, so let me get my heading over, and then I'll do this with heading, and then eventually it will work with LNAV, but I need to be kind of where I'm at here, so you can see I'm at like 150. So I'm running the stick with one hand and trying to do this with another. So now I can try this. There we go. Heading. Not quite sure where it's going. What is happening? Yeah, that's not good. Like, what is it doing? I don't know what that was. Alright, so let's see. If I put the heading on, will it do it? I mean, it's bringing me over, so let's see if that will work. Clearly something got a little messed up there. Alright, well, it is leveling out, so I think we're okay. Alright, well that was a bit of a mess, whatever the heck happened. So, we're climbing now. Alright, let me get a little sharper. That should work. And then again, we should have LNAV at some point. Let me turn the heading a little bit sharper. But we're coming up on the path, so in theory it should grab it. We do have LNAV armed, as you can see, but it has not kind of brought it over, so I don't know what level of intercept we need to have. I'm getting close to dialing the heading back the other way if it doesn't pick it up really soon here. So let's see. Direct. Execute. Alright. So somehow it maybe lost that, but now we have LNAV. Alright, and again, we were approved to 5,000. Oh. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, 5,000. I guess because I didn't
Walker
announce
4021,
myself.
say altitude.
5,000.
Walker 4021, reset transponder. Squawk 0426.
I forgot to do that. Silly me. That also means I'm going to lose points because we weren't doing that. Squawk 0426, Walker 4021. Alright. We should be transmitting, so maybe we were okay. Well, we're not on self-loading cargo,
Walker
so it
4021,
doesn't matter.
Chicago Center, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 410.
Flight level 410, Walker 4021. Alright, so we'll try this. I just think I'm going to have a really hard time getting to that level. So I'm probably going to stop somewhere short of it, but I'll probably get up into the 30s because that is kind of what's needed for the fuel. Alright, so now we're getting to the first waypoint. We're turning. But at this point, now that the drama's done, you know, we're heading down along the shore of Lake Michigan, kind of heading straight south now. You can see we're at 182, 183. So we're heading straight south, and we're going to keep obviously following our flight path, but there won't be a whole lot that we've got to share now that self-loading cargo isn't running. So I'm going to go ahead and step away. And, you know, maybe one of these flights will get this working, but in the meantime, obviously we need to get this done. I suppose the thing that I have not shared, so yeah, we're coming from the Road America race. We're going to Atlanta. This would have taken place on July 10th, 2022, so, you know, we'd be flying on that Saturday, July 9th. Basically, if I'm seeing things correctly, in 2024, they went from Nashville to Chicago instead of Road America, and then instead of going to Atlanta, we're going to Pocono for July 14th in 2024, but we'll be, we're obviously heading to Atlanta now, so 2022 schedule was obviously different. But that gets you up to speed. We'll just take a quick peek. Should be all set. You know, we're way back there somewhere is where we took off from. About 25 nautical miles, but we still have 625 nautical miles to go according to my Navigraph information. So I will continue flying, and when we get closer or when something happens that's worth bringing you in for, I will do that. So I'll see you in a bit.
Pin straight ahead and we'll see you again soon.
Alright, so I'm retrying self-loading cargo with a new update. It appears to be kind of trying to catch up. It thinks we're on the ground. We're talking to the ground crew to disconnect the pin. We've told them we don't need pushback. But the information is showing, you know, that we've got a flight. It doesn't show planned punctuality and so forth. Like it shows, it knows we're in climb. So it has switched to that. You know, it likely means we're going to have...
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign, and you are now free to move around the cabin. However, be aware as we might pass through unexpected turbulence. Toilets are located in the front and on the back of this airplane.
Ladies and
if you need
gentlemen,
any assistance,
The
don't
captain has
hesitate
turned
to
off the
ask.
seatbelt sign,
We
so you
hope
are
you
now free
enjoy
to
your
move around the
flight.
cabin.
Alright, so
However,
we're
for
getting...
your safety, we do recommend that you remain seated with your
We're
belt
getting
fastened
some of the
at all
AI.
times during the flight. Thank you.
Alright. So let's see if we can... It's like I can't interact with, well, anything at this point, which is not helpful.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign, which means you're free to move around the cabin. However, you are reminded that for your safety, we do recommend that you remain seated with your belt fastened at all times in case of turbulence or any other potential incidents that could occur during the flight. Thank you.
Alright, so we do have 2 cabin crew, so as you heard, one was talking. Let's see. Why will it? There we go. There is a menu. Alright, we have turned off the seatbelt because we're above. Oh, okay. Speaking of being above, I need to get myself on standard. That will help. Let's see. So let's do all of our stuff.
Good morning once again from the cockpit. I hope you're enjoying the flight so far.
We'll see if it'll work or if it'll
We're currently climbing up to our
collapse
cruising
on
altitude
me.
of 41,000 feet, so I thought I'd give you a quick update.
So I'm hitting all the prompts I want. We'll see if it
We're
just
making
kind
good
of
progress
catches
towards
up.
Hampton and expect to arrive on time as planned.
So there's been 3 or 4 prompts.
You'll next hear from me just before we start our descent. I'll be sure to keep you updated if anything changes, but in the meantime, please feel free to relax and take advantage of our onboard facilities.
Chicago, Center 120.35.
Thank you for flying with Western Air Express.
All right. 120.35, Walker 4021. What is happening? Oh, it took a while to switch. Okay. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, flight level 266. Yeah, it is struggling a little bit.
Walker 4021, Chicago Center, Roger.
So I don't know if it's because we have 2 things fighting for different AI things or not. I didn't notice that beyond ATC, because one of the ones that self-loading cargo uses is something called 11 Labs, and it looks like that is what beyond ATC uses as well. So, you know, could be some whatchamacallit, that could be some conflict there. But okay, as far as drinks and food, looks like I think we're okay, because food's going to be 54 minutes, drinks are in 9 minutes, and I think once we're done it does it again in 30. So we're probably going to get 2 drink services before the final meal, but we'll see how everything moves along. But at this point, we'll go ahead and you know, kind of keep you with, since now things are working. So we are over Chicago now. We're over the suburbs. We're kind of on the northwest side. We're passing, looking like Vernon Hills to off the right side of the plane, and Lincolnshire over on the left. You know, within the where this road is going, which I think is one of the main interstates. I think it's I-94. But, and then you can see O'Hare there, so we're obviously not going to overfly it, which would make sense for flight paths. There's also another airport right there. I don't have an indicator of what that is. It's near Prospect Heights, Wheeling, so whatever airfield that is. But we're overflying that right now. But yeah, you can see O'Hare's footprint. Pretty substantial compared to other things. But we'll see how things go. We've got about 8 minutes till the drink service. And again, with 10 passengers, it shouldn't take very long. Got my flaps pulled in. That did happen. For some reason, self-loading cargo just switched to cruise, even though we're really not there. But I'm wondering, am I having difficulty climbing? No, I'm doing okay. Although, well, see, and this is the issue. Like, I'm going pretty slow for what I've got, so I may want to see if I can change the altitude. Request altitude change, Walker 4021. Let's see if I can do it at 30 to 31,000.
Walker 4021, roger, say new altitude.
Flight level 310. Let's see if they'll let me.
Walker 4021, confirm new cruise altitude flight level 310.
Affirmative.
Walker 4021, roger, new cruise altitude flight level 310.
Alright, so now we need to go back down a little bit. But that should help, because we were already down to 160 as our airspeed. Alright, we're passing by O'Hare now. Yep, there we go. And then, you know, we'll have Midway shortly as well, that is at the south side of the city. So, the main city should be there. I don't know how much we'll be able to see at the height we're at 31,000 feet, but yeah, you can make out the skyline a bit. Meigs Field is there, Navy Pier. You know, you've got your various things. You've got the lake shore with the museum campus, Grant Park and all that. But yeah, that should be Midway there. And then we'll be heading out of Illinois shortly. But yeah, we'll want to see where we're at, because yeah, if I can be cruising closer to 290, 300, like that's going to give me more of what I need as far as the speed and so forth, because it was getting me down to like an hour. It's telling me an hour and 11 minutes, and obviously we're accelerating still, so it should be substantially faster. We're down to 530 nautical miles now. We were at about 625, 630, I think, when we took off. So we've gone about 100 between now and, you know, when I let you go before. Now, it is interesting that we are kind of going at this speed. So this is why, even though the plane is rated in theory for 41,000, like, it has a hard time getting up there. So I tend to not fly this plane very high. But you can see we're getting close, passing through 260. As we're descending, we should be going faster even. But acceleration is pretty good. I mean, we're up to 260.
Walker 4021, contact Chicago Center 127.6.
127.6, Walker 4021. So there we go, it's capturing the altitude. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310.
Walker 4021, Chicago Center, roger. Walker 4021.
Whoa, that was quick.
Chicago Center 132.5.
132.5, Walker 4021. Must just be on the edge of something, I don't know what. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310.
Walker 4021, Chicago Center, roger.
So, what doesn't seem to have gotten resolved in Beyond ATC is when you do a flight level change like that, somehow in the background it still maintains that original flight level. And so at times, like, I've had it complain to me, like, hey, you're at the wrong flight level, and then it tells me I need to be at the other one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, now it's doing both of them. That's interesting. Is it using double the characters?
In a
Probably.
few minutes, we will be starting the in-flight drink service. If you could please ensure all aisles are clear and bags are placed in the overhead lockers, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
So let's see. If I go to my performance...
In a few minutes, we will be starting the in-flight drink service. If you could please ensure all aisles are clear and bags are placed in the overhead lockers, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
So, a little bit of a problem there in that you are able to have 2 crew members, but it's running both of them through. So, that's gonna like chew up more than I need. Wonder if I can change that. I don't think I can from within the setup already because
Walker
you pick those crew members at a different time.
32905.
32905, Walker 4021. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310. Okay, we're starting to cap out at 275. What? My goodness. Oh, okay. Thought it was already asking us to change again. Sorry, I didn't realize he didn't acknowledge me. We're in Indiana now, though. We have crossed the border. And in theory, we have less than an hour left. 59 minutes is what I'm being told. But again, as we get closer, obviously we will slow down, and it'll take a little bit more time. So there is a possibility, for those who may be following the series in real time and as we go along, that the next flight, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it before we head out of town or not. And if I don't, there's a possibility, because I basically need to get it done in a day or so, maybe a day or two. I should be okay, because once we come back from being out of town, I'm not starting up going back to work until the following week. So I should have all day to go ahead and fly. But it just depends, you know, do I try to do it ahead of time or not? Alright, it looks like we're starting to get going on the speed or level out. So we've hit Cadiz, now we're going to Faytalk.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy. I wish I could stop that, because it's just going to chew up fields, or characters, which I really don't need it to.
Serve tea and coffee. As the crew make their way around the cabin, please clear any items from the aisle and make sure your tray table is in the down position. Thank you.
We are about to serve tea and coffee. As the crew make their way around the cabin, please clear any items from the aisle and make sure your tray table is in the down position. Thank you.
Just imagine how annoying that would be if you were one of the 10 passengers on this tiny Cessna and both crew members insisted on making every announcement. I think you'd be looking at each other, rolling your eyes like, what is happening? So I do apologize for that, but again, it's the joys of technology, right? And I'm wondering if it's doing that because we pick things up in the middle, so it didn't know, because we've always had 2 crew members. So even when I had default speech, like I had 2 different people set for that, and it very rarely used them. So, yeah, I think I may have caused a bit of a hiccup in having to reload it mid-flight. I do like the fact that I was able to load it mid-flight and it was able to pick it up and continue, because I've traditionally operated under the understanding that once it does that, like, you basically are out of using self-loading cargo for the flight. But just like beyond ATC, if it crashed, you'd be able to jump back in, and it's pretty good at continuing along. This is not a bad test for self-loading cargo as well. Alright, so we are now below 500 miles to go, but moving along. Just take a peek kind of the Midwest, so pretty flat. Nothing too exciting. If you followed my my BFR flight series that I'm starting to go around the world, we flew over Chicago at one point, so you would have seen that, and then we went over to Detroit. So where this is going further south, a lot more quickly. We've got a contrail up there from some other planes, so I am running FSLTL. I didn't really look around the airport before we took off to see what kind of aircraft and what else was in flux or parked at the gates. Obviously there was that little plane next to me, so it had gone ahead and done that. But yeah, drinks are, as you might imagine, nearly done with only 10 people. Does not take that long. So I think we literally have one more left, and then it'll be complete, and obviously the clock will start to give them the next one. But at least now I feel like we're moving along, where otherwise we were slowing down so much. I mean, we were over 100 knots slower the way we were flying, trying to climb to 41,000. So I just need to remember to set these lower for whatever reason SimBrief decides.
Walker 4021, contact Chicago Center 123.85. See you.
123.85, Walker 4021. Chicago Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310.
Walker 4021, Chicago Center, roger.
Alright. At some point we'll switch out, obviously. You know, if nothing else, we're going to have to get onto Atlanta. I just don't know if the handoff will be from Chicago to Atlanta or if we'll have something in the interim. So we certainly have some distance, but at this point we are coming up on Lafayette, Indiana, I think. I don't think that's anywhere near Indianapolis. There's an airport coming up a little bit ahead somewhere. Oh, there it is. So I'm assuming that's Lafayette Airport or West Lafayette Airport, whatever it is. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we were overflying Indianapolis, but if we are going to do that, that is not where we're at yet. So but like any flights, pretty quiet, but yeah. Oh, hour and 24 minutes for drinks, so I thought it was every 30 minutes, but I must have spread it out, and that's fine. We're not going to be able to get it done if I keep it on schedule. We technically may not be able to get it done if I don't keep it on schedule, or if I keep it at the same time as the food. Because right now it's telling us 51 minutes, and food isn't scheduled to start for 38. So I'm going to have to maybe think about that as we go. But yeah, now we have already passed over all of Lafayette that quickly. But yeah, I'm sorry for ending the other thing mid-sentence as they were getting ready to call in. They caught my attention because it was spinning. But I don't even remember what I was chatting about at that point. But I'm going to take a peek. Yeah, we're actually down, so it did update. We're down to 7,424 characters remaining right now, so we've used over 3,000 characters in the little bit we've done. So that is the challenge. Like with the free version, you're kind of limited to maybe one flight a month. So that means obviously most of the use, if I use self-loading cargo with something, will be done without those voices, and I'm really going to have to pick and choose which flight is going to get it. I mean, my hope over time, again, is still that maybe that shortens up, and because all the messages, a lot of the messages are standard, that it will not consume characters, but I'm not quite sure that it'll do that or not. Because my thing that I'm unfamiliar with is, maybe it's just the current flight. Like if there's some repetition during that, it knows what to do. Because if I look at the file names, like it's not like it's saying what the wording is or whatever. So there would have to be some pretty interesting information stored in the background for it to know that this file is this segment of speech that I need. But the reason I wanted to try it was to see, well, if I take a full flight and I have everything generated for this cabin crew now, for the drink service, because like the drink service thing is, we're starting, please clear the aisles, so forth. Like that doesn't change because we're at a different height or whatever it is, so it should be able to reuse it, and then therefore it doesn't generate it, it pulls it from the storage spot on my drive. Alright, we're in theory about halfway now, so we've been flying for 45, and we've got 48 left. Alright, Indianapolis Center, that makes sense. 119.55, Walker 4021.
Negative. Indianapolis Center on 119.55.
Thought I said that. 119.55, Walker 4021. Alright, and now it's processing.
Negative. Indianapolis Center on 119.55.
Indianapolis Center 119.55, Walker 4021. Let's see if it likes that better. If it doesn't, I'm gonna let it auto-respond. Say what it needs to send.
Negative. Indianapolis Center on 119.55.
Contact Indianapolis Center 119.55. Walker 4021. Take care.
Yeah, I don't know how mine was that different, but Indianapolis Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310. Interesting.
Walker 4021, Indianapolis Center, roger.
Alright, well, at least it took it. It just, again, is taking a while for it to process. Alright, so we've got 51 miles to the next waypoint, but yeah, we're right now going by Indianapolis. So there's the airport there. There's technically another one here somewhere, just I think a single runway. I guess it would be over more in this direction. Don't know that I see it offhand. Not sure it entirely matters. But just trying to have something to say, but I don't know that we will. And realistically, I guess, until we get to descent or drinks or something, there's not really a point. I mean, I think you get the idea of what we've got. Again, the flight crew, the cabin crew is Australian, is what I have both of them set to. But right now, they're just going to serve food and drinks, and not much you're going to hear, and I don't want to make this exorbitantly long for no point. So, we're way too high to really see anything. So even doing this like I do with my visual flight series and just letting you watch out the window I don't think is going to be terribly exciting. So I'm going to make the call that I'm going to cut here, and then we'll catch back up in a bit.
Delays, so we should be able to land fairly quickly. Once we do begin our descent, please listen to the cabin crew carefully and pay attention to any instructions they provide. Please also monitor the seatbelt sign during our approach. Thanks for flying with Western Air Express, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Alright, so I'm going to begin descending in about 10 minutes.
Hi.
Okay.
I'll call you back in a sec, sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So I can't give them descent. I probably should have
Walker 4021.
done that
Indianapolis
first.
Center. Expect Buckhead Tree, runway 6. Buckhead 3, runway 6, Walker 4021.
Yeah, I probably really should have done it like 5 minutes. I'm probably... no, I should be okay. It's telling me I'm 24 minutes away, so... I was just worried, given that it's already calling us in. And yes, I have it on auto-respond for a little bit while I was offline. So I'll probably turn that off now so that I can control beyond ATC myself. And now we're at 6273 on the number of characters. So yeah, we've almost used half of what we have available. But let's see how it goes. So let's see, 2 minutes ago. Yeah, it was 2 minutes ago that I did that. So let's see, at what time do I have? Not seeing time on this plane. I don't know that I've looked. Alright, well, so it's 3 minutes ago. So at this point, we'll do it at like 3. So I see where I need to do it on real time on a clock. So I'll try to stay on there, and then that should do pretty well. Although I think I'm going to lose the scoring on everything else because it's not going to have all that. It'll be interesting. Because I did pick up the flight again, so it wasn't as if I didn't do that. But yeah, we're actually now on the kind of the, I think the arrival. That's what it is, the star, and then we'll be coming in on the approach later. Again, we're coming in on 06. I think it did stick with that. Yes, runway 6, so that's good. And I suppose I can try VNAV, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's calculating anything that I can see.
Walker 4021. Contact Atlanta Center 133.6.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. 133.6, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 310.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
Oops. Alright, so we've got about 5 more minutes before we begin descending. We've still got a good amount of fuel, so at least Looks like that will work out. Alright, good news is we got all the services done. I did start them early, so we at least have that knocked out, and we'll be in good shape there. But yeah, what I don't have that I can see on the Cessna is kind of that calculated top of descent. And so therefore, that's a bit of a challenge. I mean, it tells me I'm 160 miles out, so I should be fine because I need to go from, say, 3,000 to 30,000 to 2,500, so, or 2,000, so that's, what, 28,000 feet times 3. It's going to be 60 plus, so yeah, it's going to be like 84 miles out. So it's going to be pretty close. And again, we've got a little bit of time to move around and so forth, because we're going to basically pass the airport to the west and go south of the airport to line up and come in on runway 06. So in about a couple minutes, I'm going to call for descent. We should be all right. So we just passed over Crossville, which I think, I'm assuming we're in Georgia, but maybe we're still in Tennessee. Not entirely sure. Don't know the cities that well, and I'm not quite zoomed out really that far, so. Because yeah, right now it's telling me descent to destination is about 1,600. I'm guessing it's going to be about 1,800 by the time we get to the point we need to descend. But yeah, I think if I go down at about 1,500, that should be good. But all of that is part of the joy that we have as we're trying to work through all this. All right. So I'm going to call ready for descent. Call ready for descent, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, after have. Cleared via Buckhead Tree. Pilot's discretion descend and maintain flight level 230. Henry County Airport landing runway 6, altimeter 3004.
Cleared via Buckhead 3, flight level 230, landing runway 6, altimeter 3004, Walker 4021. Alright, so we are going to begin the descent. Going to slow down. And again, I'm going to go at about 1,500. So I should get myself down to, say, 70. We'll see how that works. Alright, and now
Good morning once again from the cockpit. As you've probably noticed, we've started our descent.
let's see.
Depending on the destination air traffic, we should be landing in around 20 minutes. In the meantime, I will be instructing the cabin crew to get the cabin ready for our arrival.
I turned on the seatbelt light. Not necessarily within the
Once that happens, the
sim,
seatbelt
because
sign
it
will be
doesn't.
illuminated, and you will be required to stay seated
Doesn't
and
check
secured
that,
until after
but
landing. If you need to visit the toilet, it may be worth making your way towards one now.
Alright. And then we're gonna want to...
You'll next hear from me after landing, so I will wish you a very good morning once again, and I'll speak to you in a short while.
So yeah, we can prepare for arrival a little bit later, but we'll see how all that goes. And again, we're just supposed to go to 23,000, so we'll see what happens when we start getting there. Because in theory, let me see, I can slow my descent down a little bit. Let's get it to 1,000, and maybe that'll be a little bit better, and we won't be quite going down as aggressively, but the dot on my descent is kind of where that shows me that, so. Although it's telling me like 1,300 right now, but on Navigraph. But yeah, I can see in the back window we're down to 5,000 something characters, so definitely using up the AI that's allowed. You know, and the thing is, you can switch between two different kinds, but...
Contact Atlanta Center 132.05.
132.05, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 267.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
So, it'll definitely be interesting, but yeah, we're still 115 miles out or so. So can I go a little quicker? I guess I can. Down to 212, but I should be able to go quicker than that, or we're not going to make it in the time I had. We're going to be way later, which would be bad. Yeah, actually, it looks like we've just passed Chattanooga. We're kind of going over Chattanooga now. So, that means we're still in Tennessee. Should make sense, because Atlanta is a little bit on the north end of Georgia. It's not that far. Alright, so now we're 231. I mean, you know, right around 250 would be a good speed, so. Alright, 240. Just need to pay attention so that I don't overspeed. I mean, again, we are over 10,000, so we should actually be okay, but because yeah, now it's telling me down to 16. We're going to make a little bit of a turn to the left.
Descend and maintain 11,000. Altimeter tree 004.
Descend and maintain 11,000. Walker 4021. I'm assuming since I acknowledged the altimeter, it'll let me go, but whoops. Right, because even there, I can still go faster. There's just a 10,000, I need to be below 250. But the thing is, now we're kind of headed a little bit more due south than we were, so in theory we should chew up miles a little bit quicker. We're still over 100 miles out, which is a bit crazy, but that is where we're at. But we are now in Georgia, so we have crossed the line. So, looks like it actually gave me credit for turbulence, so that I predicted normal, and it was normal, so I don't know, you know, maybe once we start approaching 18,000 or something, I mean, you can see where we're at. We're still at above 23,000. But it's telling me 14 minutes from here. I think it's going to be longer than the 20 minutes, but we'll see. Oh, we're getting
Walker
something else.
4021, contact Atlanta Center 133.8. Have a good day.
133.8, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 230.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
Alright, getting myself a little bit comfortable here. So we're passing Dalton to the east of us here. So kind of right over there. Got a little bit of cloud cover, it looks like. But doesn't look like anything too crazy, so I'm assuming we'll be all set. Good news is overall experience of our flight, of our passengers, is a good flight. They'll say they're getting thirsty, but I think they're always getting thirsty, even when they're getting drinks, so. But we're down to, in theory, about 87 nautical miles, but I'm sure we're going to be like 15 out on the descent. Down to under 2,000 pounds of fuel now. We started with 4,253. And I think it only said we needed like 3,000, but I think the 50% is like 2,800 in total. So, yeah, we would have been pretty close, because right now we'd be down to like 800, and not sure if we're going to land within that usage. Like, we'd basically have to, well, I guess we'd have to be at over 1,000 or something still, but feedback I heard from someone was SimBrief kind of gives you the absolute minimum, so you usually pad it a little bit, because otherwise you're really pretty close. Alright, then we're going to turn again. We're coming up here on Highlands. Then we're going to head a little more east. I think this is taking us... yeah, it is. According to my chart, it just seems a little odd, because I didn't think we'd come in that way, but I wonder if we then like turn back and head out or something. I don't know. Because I kind of remember that we would be going southwest when we went out to intercept. So we've got, what? I can't quite see because I'm too high. 20 miles. So I should be able to see that pretty soon. Alright, and it's 30014. Or 3004, I should say. Which is quite a bit lower than when we took off. So that should run us down. Once we get closer, that should actually drop us a good amount, I think. Guess we'll see how that works. But yeah, it's still saying we're 70 miles out, 10 minutes. So yeah, I don't think the 20 minutes is going to be accurate, sadly. And I assume eventually we're going to obviously get passed off to Atlanta approach. Right now I'm still not seeing any indication on my navigraph of my next waypoint, so I can't tell if we're going to... I think we should be turning to the right for a little while and then heading over, because this was also like a vectored approach, and then we need to head out. Yeah, and it's just really a question of how far out do I want to be. Okay, so there's Buckhead, which is, yeah, the end of it. But I can't quite see. No, it looks like we keep heading. Oh, maybe it's not quite the end of it. It's a solid line, as opposed to a dashed line, which is what I would expect to see. I don't know. We're just trying to get there. Alright, so let's do that. Oh, that actually raised us up a bit, going to 30.04. But not a lot, so... You know, it's blinking because we're over 18,000, but we're just about there, so... It's certainly close enough. Probably as we start getting down to, I mean, maybe. Maybe 10, 15,000. I don't know. I'm not sure when I want to have them prepare the cabin. Alright. So I should probably call them and see. I don't know if I can do it via the intercom. I don't remember.
Hello, Captain.
Yep. Forgot what I needed, is what I'm telling
Sorry,
them.
my mind's gone blank. I'll call you back.
No problem.
Alright. So... We're going to prepare the cabin for landing.
Cabin crew, prepare the cabin for landing.
And that'll basically mean they're going to start shutting down the restrooms and so forth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to
12705, Walker 4021.
Upright position, and your seatbelt is fastened. Our crew will be soon preparing the cabin for our arrival. Thank you for your attention.
Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, 16,400.
Walker 4021, stay altitude.
16,000.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
Okay, so now we are turning a bit, and then we'll be heading out. Alright, so now I probably do want to start slowing down some.
Walker 4021, altimeter 3004, expect the visual approach runway 6.
Visual runway 6, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, descend and maintain 2,900, vectors for the approach.
Descend and maintain 2,900, Walker 4021.
Hello.
Okay, I'm waiting for their response. I really did hit hello, so it's working. It's going to be lengthy, I'm guessing. So, you know, this is part of where the AI takes a long time. So I think it's things like say intentions
Walker
take a bit.
4021, contact Atlanta Center
Captain, all
135.0.
passengers are
Have a
seated
good
and
one.
secured for landing.
135.0, Walker 4021. Alright, so they're secured, and
I'll call you when you need to be seated.
No problem.
yeah, I think they're okay for a little bit.
Negative, Atlanta Center on 135.0.
135.0, Walker 4021. Okay, I think I have the landing lights on. I do. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021. 14,000. Let's see if that works. Or if it's going to tell me to say
Walker
altitude.
4021.
Wow.
Say altitude.
13,800.
Walker 4021. Say altitude.
13,500. Is it just not taking it?
Walker 4021.
Okay.
Atlanta Center. Roger.
Craziness, I'll tell you. Alright, so 28 miles out. We're below 250. That's kind of what I was targeting as we're starting to get closer. You know, we haven't turned in yet to begin the approach. Obviously, we've got some broken clouds, is what I would call this. Might be scattered. Not quite sure what. Let's see if I can see. So yeah, scattered at 6,000 is what it's telling us. So I've got a ways to go yet before we get through there. Now this is saying altimeter of 29 or 9er now, but obviously that's not what it's telling us in the sim, so we'll stick with what we've been given. Alright, so I am going to descend a lot more aggressively because at this point we are let's see, let me open my flaps so that I can slow down quite a bit. But we are getting close. Like, I can see the airport, and I think
Walker
we're going to be turning
4021.
soon.
Turn left. Heading 145.
Exactly. Turn left, heading 145, Walker 4021. Okay, I'm just going to set it, but I'm going to let it still do its autopilot here. Alright, we're below 10. Alright, so at this point I am going to tell them to take seats.
All station seats for landing, please.
Because, yeah, we should be there soon. It's telling me 4 minutes, but I think it's going to happen before that. But maybe I'm wrong. Alright, let me... Are we looping around? Is that... I guess so. Interesting. I suppose that's the way to do it. Alright, so maybe I can be less aggressive in my descent. So yeah, I think I'm going to be really off on my timing because obviously it's going to take a little while to loop around. So, alright, we're going to speed things up, keep ourselves about 200 because we want the aircraft to be stable. Alright, so there isn't much else for the crew to be doing. Because, yeah, we're like supposed to be at 2500 for JUPEP, but that's like after we circle around, so I think we'll be perfectly fine.
Walker 4021. Contact Atlanta Center 128.0. See you.
128.0, Walker 4021. Alright, because now it's telling us we're within 12 and we're still getting closer. So Atlanta Center, Walker 4021. 6,500. So let's see if it caught
Walker
that.
4021, say altitude.
Oh my goodness. 6,000 feet.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger. Walker 4021, turn left, heading 110, descend and maintain 2000.
Turn left 110, descend and maintain 2000.
Walker 4021, turn left, heading 100.
Turn left 100. Okay, so I am actually going to do this at this point, because otherwise we're going to go too far, and this is kind of getting us where we need, and this should line us up.
Airport is at your 10 o'clock 12 miles. Report the field in sight.
So we're going direct. Bugo. Okay. So I should be seeing it. Can I see it? Because again, it's such a small airport.
Airport is at your 10 o'clock 12 miles. Report the field in sight.
Field in sight, Walker 4021. So I'm not actually being quite
Walker 4021,
honest, but
cleared visual approach runway 6.
But we will get there. So we're gonna LNAV our way back onto the path. Cleared visual runway 6, Walker 4021. Okay, so we're limited to low, so I need to get back up to 2,000 here.
No tower services available at Henry County Airport.
I think
Frequency
it's
change
there.
Approved. Take care.
Frequency change approved, Walker 4021. Alright, let's get our landing monitor going. Okay, we're at 2,000. I'm gonna put our gear out. That's the airport there, so, okay, I thought it was there, but now I see it. Alright, but we should be good. And then we should be able to slow down. And I assume that's all we're going to really get. I mean, we might get some taxi instructions Which I'm sure will just be no information for this airport or something like that. I'm going to put our flaps further down. Alright. We are slowing down a lot, which is okay, but not okay, if you know what I mean. So, we are going to head down. So let me go down further. I think 1,000 will be good. And that'll bring us down. Because right now we're all white. And I don't know that that's enough. So let me dive a little more. So I think I'm too high. Alright. So we're going to turn off the autopilot. We've got... I think we want the yaw damper off. Alright, I do have my gear down. I don't want to suddenly be scraping the plane. I've done that in another series. Alright, 130 knots. Gonna back off a little bit more here. So we should be able to slow down. We're a little low. So that's the red. I want to raise myself up. Alright, now we're going to turn this off. Come on. Alright, a little off the side. Certainly not the best landing, but it's doable. We're going to get yelled at for being in the grass. Our passengers are going to scream and yell.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination.
Come on,
Please
I need to
remain
move.
Seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft is parked and the fasten seatbelt sign is off. Please be careful while opening the overhead compartment, as items might fall during the flight. Our staff will help you complete your walker journey, and if you need any help, please don't hesitate to ask. In behalf of our crew and all the team, we thank you so much for choosing flying with Walker Air Transport.
115 is what we landed at,
and
so...
wish you a pleasant stay. Thank you.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross-check.
Okay, so we've got a lot of GA parking right here. So we're not going to go very far.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Once that happens, we will start deboarding and you'll be able to leave the aircraft. Thank you.
See, and like all these messages should then be reusable, is in theory what
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're kind of
please
told.
remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Once that happens, we will start
She's
deboarding
very
and you'll be able
excited.
to leave the aircraft. Thank you.
She's definitely the much more excited individual. Alright. A little faster than I would have liked. Put the flaps up. Set the parking brake. Alright, well I did get on the grass, so it did give me it did catch me out on that, even though they weren't screaming and yelling. Get the nav light. Alright, so I can probably turn the seat belts off, and we'll get the engines shut down. And there we go.
Round to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
Now we had the loud and clear, but if he doesn't say 5 by 5 or
Crystal
whatever.
clear. 5 out of 5.
Well,
Roger.
that was, I think, different.
Okay, Captain. Ground power is available. Stand by. We'll start getting you offloaded in a couple of minutes.
Roger.
Okay, we're clear to deboard.
Cabin crew. The aircraft is secure. Please open the doors when ready and begin deboarding.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you don't forget any items on this plane. If you need any help, our staff will be punctual to give you any assistance. We wish you a pleasant onward journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your flight this morning, and I'd like to wish you a safe onward journey. We'll see you again soon. Thank you for flying with Western Air Express.
Alright, well, I got a B,
Ground to cockpit.
which is interesting.
Hello.
Talk to my crew first, then we'll worry about ground. I'm assuming they're telling us everyone's off. Because again, we only had 10 people, so... It's taken a long time to process her. My goodness.
Hi, Captain. All passengers have left the aircraft. Brilliant landing, by the way. We barely felt anything.
We aim to please.
Just give me a buzz if you need anything.
Alright, and then we have ground crew.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Okay, all back to the cockpit. We're closing up now. We'll see you next time.
Roger.
See, the Roger works pretty quick, so I think it's reusing the Roger, but...
Go ahead.
Just a reminder, if you're using software to track your virtual airline flights, you might want to finalize your flight now if you haven't already done so.
Yeah, and we've done that.
Roger.
So we're good, and yeah, now the PAs, they're not even available. But let me see if I pull up our report. I'm just curious what it looks like for what we've got. Whoops. Alright, so pitch angle down, G-forces not so great, but boarding and landing it did okay. Yeah, we were late. I don't know that we were that late, but okay. And yes, we obviously didn't notify the crew for takeoff because we couldn't get that part working. Again, we descended on time, but some things, because you can see, like, it was 0 minutes of 0 minutes. Like, it's always seems wrong there. I don't understand how this Wi-Fi system was not suspended at landing. Alright, I was off by 7 minutes on my landing, so that I was expecting, and then yes, we moved off the taxiway. But getting to be with some large gaps and so forth, I'd say that was pretty good, so not terrible. But that is our flight report. Alright, so we'll get that quieted down. And we're nice and quiet here, no engines. Everybody's gone and left, which they would have done anyway. But hope you've enjoyed the trip here. I know it was a little disjointed and messed up with what we had. So again, not sure that I'll be able to do the next flight with everything, because I also don't know what happens, like if I run out of characters. Because yeah, I'm down to 4,500, so it basically used 6,000 characters for the flight. If it needs all that again, we're not going to have enough, and so I don't know if it just stops and then goes back to the default because it can't pull any, or if it crashes, or what will happen. But just having the opportunity to do this periodically, I think, is nice. You know, and I guess what I don't know is, does the character limit reset? I thought it did, but maybe I only get 12,500 characters, and that's it. And then if I, you know, unless I wanted to pay, You know, and then that would be my issue. Because, yeah, it looks like 12,500 characters is the current plan, where if you go to, yeah, see, they have a creator plan or a unlimited plan, but yeah, those are all expensive. They're over $300 a year. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see, online studying for creating voiceovers. But if I go to real-time API for conversational, but yeah, so I'm wondering the free plan might just give me the 12,500, and then it looks like for $5 a month you can get 25,000 characters, and for basically $300 a year. Oh wow, but no, that's just $300 monthly. That's not per year. Then you can get 1.5 million characters. But clearly, obviously, yes. I'm not going to do that for Flight Sim. So yeah, I don't know how this plays out. Like, maybe this is the only time we get to use it. Because if it doesn't create it with these, that's not going to be very helpful. I mean, it's like, you know, if you need a little bit, and you knew that, you know, it's like you could, you know, maybe I could pay $5 for a couple months to like get everything saved for the voices I like to use. But that's what I'm going to have to see, is like, will it do that and use these things now or not? You know, because the challenge definitely ends up being that you, like, it has the city and stuff, like where it's, hey, we're flying to whatever, in the announcement, like when you're doing the announcement, we're on our way to whatever airport, like that would obviously always need to be generated. But you know, and it's generated, I think, as part of the whole string, so I don't think it like pieces it together. So you'd almost always need some characters. So, yeah, I just don't know how realistic this is ultimately going to be, because right now, like, yeah, this is not something I would pay for, because, like I said, the base voices are certainly good enough. And, you know, I'm looking at the other one. Yeah, see, because 11 Labs, which doesn't let me do as many different voices, gives you 10,000 characters a month for the free one. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we shall see. So I might, you know, not be able to use Australian voices, which would be really sad, because I do like my Australian accents. But we'll see how things play out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, there's less choices in this 11 Labs thing that I can get to work. So we'll have to see how it all pulls together. But if you've enjoyed this, please drop a like. If you are not a subscriber yet, please consider that. Certainly give me some comments, and I will see you next time.